All right, so today I am joined by singer-songwriter Mike Maimone. How are you doing today?
You got it. I'm good. Thanks, Danny. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Yeah, I practiced those first 2 minutes, yes.
Nailed it.
So let me begin by asking, how excited are you to release your upcoming LP, Guess What? I Love You?
It's been 2 years in the making. Usually I would kind of knock out a record in a week or two, maybe a month. So this has been quite the build up. So
Mm,
it's really nice that it's finally here.
definitely. Now, when is the official release date?
The whole album comes out on August 15th.
August 15th? Okay,
So yeah.
perfect.
So we've
And
got four singles
uh,
between now and then.
awesome. So, Guess What? I Love You is a deeply personal tribute to your late husband, a renowned PR guru, Howard Bragman, and the album chronicles your love story and your emotional journey through grief, love, and healing. And the other week, you released the LP's first single, On My Way. How has that been received by listeners?
This has been a very different feeling on this. I think because of the purpose and the intention behind it feels like it's not just another record or just another song. I'm sharing the story, and so the response has been uh, much deeper, much more meaningful. And I can just tell from the comments on the posts that I put up and the messages people are giving me, they're really connecting with me. I'm hearing a lot of people's stories of their own grief and their own
Mhm.
loss. So it's been just a much more human experience than the average song release. And I'm grateful that I told my Patreon patrons, I sent them the whole album before it was like right after I finished it. And I said, "What do you think the first single should be?" And I'm thinking like it should be something later in the record that sort of like sums up the whole thing.
Yeah,
And unanimously, they said it's got to be On My Way.
really.
And it's like because it's such a fun and peppy song, it's unlike me in that way.
Yeah.
And and they were right. It's like I wanted to bring this story into the world on a happy note and
Mhm.
kind of
Definitely.
the excitement of, those early days in a relationship.
Definitely. So, On My Way started as a voicemail to Howard. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So what was it like rediscovering that message and turning it into a full song?
It's just, I mean, the whole process was this emotional roller coaster of like
Yeah.
crying and laughing and remembering and we were long distance. I was in Nashville when we met and he was in LA, and so we were just it was so exciting just like hopping planes to see each other either at his house or my house or whatever. And so yeah, I called him and he didn't pick up, and I just wanted to tell him how excited I was to come see him, and I had my guitar, so I just like plopped out this little thing. And the album is sort of narrated by our voicemails that we left for each other that I
Yeah.
found. And I found that, and I thought this should go on as just like a narration track interlude. And it was really pitchy, like my voice was out of tune. So I started to re-record it, and in the process, I was like, "Oh, I really like this. This should be more." And it just kept developing and developing, and turned into the first single.
Yeah. Yeah. How long were you with Howard?
It was one magical year.
One magical year.
Yeah, we were engaged when he was diagnosed,
Okay.
and so we had been planning the wedding and all kinds of stuff, moving in together. All of that was like just budding. It was just starting to happen when he was diagnosed. So we decided to get married in the hospital,
Mhm.
and we just needed to like to give that to each other.
Each other. Yeah.
And the plan was to have a Howard beat cancer and we're married party later.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he passed away the day after we were
Right afterwards. Yeah. Well, did you feel his presence while working on this album?
married. Absolutely. I mean, it was there. I mean, I don't know what your beliefs or anyone's beliefs are on what happens after we die, but there were some moments, and I'm not one of these people. At
Mhm.
least I wasn't. But I was like, that's Howard. Like, holy shit. Like, it's. I think that I've come to the belief that the energy doesn't just go away, that
Definitely.
our loved ones are around us in some capacity or another.
Yeah,
So
definitely. And so the album structure, you have side A focusing on love and side B focusing on loss. And can you kind of talk a little bit about how the decision shapes the listening experience?
yeah, and the thing on side B, and it's coming on vinyl, and I'm going all out on that
Mhm.
because it's Howard's record, so I'm not cutting any corners. I wanted it to end not just with the grief, but of healing. And the thing is healing is obviously a lifelong process, but it was happening as I was writing it. So
Mhm.
it's the emotion in it is just so raw. And the last couple of tracks are just sort of about those moments where I was feeling Howard as I was writing the record, and then writing about feeling Howard while writing the
Mhm.
record. So I think you can really feel that sort of next step just starting to happen by the time you're done finishing, done listening.
Mhm. So would you say the writing process helped you the most with grieving?
Yeah, I don't know what I would have done without music. At first, it was just learning covers because I couldn't really write right away.
Mhm.
So the first thing I did was record an album of covers and that were really significant to us, and then that turned into an album. I did some release shows, like tribute shows, and just to tell the story a little bit,
Mhm.
and raised a bunch of money for the Trevor Project, which was a good way to start. And when I came back from the last of those shows, it was like the floodgates opened and all of these emotions and songs poured out.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would have done without being able to do that.
Definitely. What's the next single after On My Way?
It's to continue the trend of the side A songs, like the fun songs. It's called Paranoid in Paradise,
Okay.
and it comes out right before 420, so
Okay.
April 18th. So I'm like allergic to marijuana. Like it makes my brain explode. But Howard was like the most functional stoner you've ever met. Like he'd be on the phone with like these top level executives and celebrities, like telling them like, "Shut up and listen if you want your career back." Just high as a kite.
Oh.
So I tried to smoke with him, and it failed spectacularly. I thought he was trying to kill me. Like but usually when that happens, I'm with like my band or somebody, and so there's like a party happening, and they're like, just go pass out in the van, like we don't want to be around you. But Howard just went to sleep. He was like, I'm done. I'm out. I'm
Okay.
going to sleep. And it pulled me out of the paranoia, like no one like that. It's never happened before. He's the only person who's ever gotten me to like not be paranoid.
Well,
Yeah, it's a song about that.
okay, awesome. Well, is there a song on the album that was the most challenging to write or record?
Yeah, I was really avoiding in the narrative going back to the hospital.
Okay.
But I knew that that had to be part of the story. So I wrote a song called Helpless, and it's about being, by the bedside of a loved one.
Mhm.
And, you can't do anything as
Yeah.
much as you want to. There's just nothing you can do. So I had to go back there, and it was devastating. And um, I also I recorded it and mixed it, and so it's like every note on the record I have just been on all sides of it, like writing and recording. I didn't play everything, but the recording and the mixing, and so each step was just like pulling the scab off again, and
Oh, yeah.
that one was just so brutal. And then because I'm a masochist, I've also recorded a piano solo version and an acoustic guitar version because I liked the way the songs speak when they're just me and an instrument.
Yeah.
So going back to those two songs, I almost didn't even re-record them because it was too difficult, but I did it again. So that one is just brutal.
Yeah, sounds like it. Well, what else do you ultimately hope listeners take away from Guess What? I Love You?
Just hold your loved ones tighter.
Hmm.
Don't just tell people you love that you love them, show them. Because we don't know how much time we get, and we're really lucky to have loved ones. So I hope people just listen to it and celebrate the good times and maybe if you're going through a more difficult time, hopefully it'll help comfort you and let you know that you're not alone in those feelings. But just at the end of the day, just cherish the time that we have with the people we love.
Definitely. If Howard could hear this album today, what do you think he'd say about it?
Oh my God. Uh, he he'd say thank you. And then he would, because he's like, when are you gonna write a song about us? I was like, I don't really write love songs, so I don't think you want that. Like,
Mhm.
usually my relationship songs are like breakup songs. But I did write him one love song. It's called Forever Again,
Yeah.
because he had been divorced and I had been separated. So this was our second forever.
Mhm.
And he showed it to all, it wasn't even done. It was like a demo. And he showed it to all of his friends and he was so proud that I wrote him a song. So I think that he would take this album and show it to everyone he knows and just be proud that I wrote him a whole record.
Definitely. Well, your career has taken you from business school and accounting to full-time music. Looking back, what was the moment when you knew that this was your true calling?
Uh, Well, I can tell you the moment the switch flipped, I was driving back to my house late at night after it was like tax season, so we were working super late, and it was late at night. I'm driving home on the freeway in Cleveland, Ohio. It's icy, and I hit a patch of ice and did a 180. So I'm facing the wrong way on an interstate, and the semi comes right by me, like blaring his horn,
Yeah.
and my life flashed before my eyes, and I was like, I want to not die an accountant. And so I called up my college band and like, what are y'all doing next summer? So they were all in like grad school programs, so it wasn't a problem for them we all moved into an apartment together in Chicago. But I
Yeah,
just quit my job. I was like, I'm done.
you're done.
And
Yeah,
at
don't
the
blame
end of the summer, they went back to school, and I was like, I'm just gonna keep going. So I
me.
never looked back.
There you go. Well, in addition to the album and your music, you've also written a memoir about love, loss, and reinvention, or yeah, reinvention. Can you share what
Mhm.
readers can expect from that?
It really is a companion piece to the album and vice versa. I just knew, like Howard, I didn't really know how remarkable Howard was while we were together. Like I knew that he worked in the entertainment industry and that he had helped some celebrities come out, but I didn't grasp the depth of what he means to our community until his memorial in LA.
Hmm.
And so many people spoke about him, and some of my friends had come out to support me from Chicago, and we're sitting here in the house afterwards, and my friend was like, you have to like do a documentary on Howard now. And I was like, I do. Like, this is insane. And I went on this deep dive on YouTube and I'm finding these interviews and things that he's done. And I talked to a lot of his friends and people reached out to me. And so I would go to lunch and get coffee with these producers and celebrities and people that he had worked with. And I'm like, oh my God, like my mission now is to like tell Howard's story.
Yeah.
And when I was talking to one of the producers about a documentary, he's like, this is like an 8-year project. Like, why don't you just start writing,
Hmm.
like write a book? So I owe a lot to him, Ron Sylvester. He did produced a really amazing documentary called Commitment to Life that was on Peacock about H Project Los Angeles, and Howard was in it. And so he set me on this path to write this book, and and it grew and it became a memoir.
Hmm. That's awesome. Very nice. Well, what are some future goals you hope to accomplish with your music career now?
My goal has always been to just be able to eat sandwiches. Like if I can just uh not have the side gigs, which I still do some like freelance work here and there. I love the days that I can just get up, know that my bills are paid, and that I can open the fridge and find food for dinner and just make music and videos and stuff. So that's my goal. And if it manifests into being able to do keep doing bigger and better gigs and tours and festivals, awesome. But at the end of the day, my goal has always been to just do what I love and be able to keep the lights on doing it.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Well, how can one stay up to date with you the best?
Uh, I like Instagram right now, so Mike Maimone Music on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I have a website, and if you don't want to rely on the algorithms, I have a newsletter like email or text, so you can go to my website and find all that stuff.
All right, perfect. Well, then, Mike, before we wrap up, are there any other upcoming projects or anything else you'd like to mention or plug at this time?
Just the record. The book will be out probably next year, so it's going to be a long journey of telling this story. So I hope everyone wants to come along for the ride.
All right, fantastic.